The studio was quieter than usual that morning. The hum of lights, the shuffle of papers, the familiar buzz that filled every broadcast day for decades, it all felt different. Kelly Ripa stood in front of the camera, the woman who had brightened America's mornings for more than 30 years, and took a deep breath. Her smile trembled, her eyes shimmered, and with a soft, almost fragile voice, she whispered, "It's time." For 3 decades, Kelly had been the heartbeat of daytime television. Every morning, her laughter echoed through living rooms and kitchens across the country. She made people feel like they had a friend on the other side of the screen, a friend who joked about burnt toast, messy mornings, and the chaos of raising kids. She talked about her husband, Mark Consuelos, about love, family, and the small, beautiful imperfections that made life real. But behind the glitter and spotlight, there was a woman who sometimes longed for quiet, for time, for presence, for peace. Television gave her everything: fame, success, purpose. But it also took the mornings she could have spent watching the sunrise with her husband, the moments she missed as her children grew up, the quiet breakfasts replaced by studio lights and cue cards. Mark had been by her side from the beginning, from their All My Children days to every new chapter that followed. They weren't just co-stars, they were partners, co-conspirators in building a life both on and off the screen. He was the calm to her storm, the stillness when her world moved too fast. Together, they faced the noise of fame with humor and grace, never losing sight of what truly mattered: each other. One morning, Kelly woke before dawn. She walked into the kitchen and saw Mark sitting quietly, sipping coffee in the golden light of sunrise. He looked peaceful, completely still, and in that silence, she realized just how many mornings she had missed. When was the last time I just sat still with him? She thought. That question didn't go away. It lingered, through rehearsals, interviews, laughter, and the applause that followed her every step. Television never sleeps. Behind every bright smile is a 4 a.m. alarm, a rewritten script, and a home that waits in silence. As their children grew older and moved away, the house grew quieter too. And for the first time, the silence didn't bring peace. It brought reflection. What am I chasing now? More ratings or more memories? The answer came softly, like a whisper she'd been avoiding for years. Her next chapter wasn't waiting in a studio. It was waiting across the breakfast
as the
table.
sun set over Central Park, Kelly turned to Mark and said, "What if I just stopped?" Mark smiled, not surprised. Then we'd finally get to have coffee after sunrise. They laughed together, the kind of laugh that hides tears, because they both knew what that decision meant. It wasn't the end of a career. It was the beginning of a life that had always been waiting. Leaving television isn't something you do in a single moment. It's 100 small goodbyes, a quiet talk with producers, a trembling phone call to old friends, a farewell segment rewritten again and again because every word feels too final. When the day finally came, there were no confetti cannons or flashing lights, just tulips, her favorite flowers, on the desk, and Mark waiting patiently backstage. Kelly began the show with a smile that cracked halfway through the first sentence. "This isn't goodbye forever," she said, pausing to wipe a tear. "It's just time to go home." The room fell silent. For 30 years, she had helped others start their day. Now, finally, she was starting hers. The first Monday after her farewell felt surreal. No alarms, no makeup chair, no studio rush. Just sunlight creeping through the curtains and the smell of coffee. Mark handed her a mug and grinned, "Welcome to the rest of your life."
They began to travel, quietly, simply. They rediscovered old hobbies, revisited forgotten places, and learned to enjoy the rhythm of ordinary days. And for Kelly, ordinary began to feel extraordinary. Social media flooded with messages. You were my morning companion. You got me through hard times. Kelly read every one she could, tears slipping down her face. If I've ever been a comfort, then you've been my family. And somewhere in those words, she realized something important. Legacy isn't about the show you leave behind. It's about the kindness people remember. Months later, Kelly and Mark walked hand in hand through the same studio hallway where they first met. The lights were off. The set was empty. But their laughter still echoed softly through the walls. And in that moment, Kelly smiled. Because this love, this peace, this life was the real story all along.